Gulam, Senior Executive Director at Knight Frank India, is joining us for more perspective on this. Gulam, very good morning and thank you so much for speaking to us this morning. I just want to understand whether this is really a big positive for the real estate sector and real estate companies. And I'm asking this because when the news first came that indexation will be removed, but the long-term capital gains tax brought down from 20 to 12.5%, everyone across the industry said it won't make too much of a difference. So, which is why I'm wondering if it's actually that big a relief.
Good morning, Tamanna. From investors' perspective, those who are looking at buying property today onwards, there is hardly any difference, because in any case, the grandfather clause that you're talking about is applicable for all the previous cases. From here onwards, the cases are different, and today when you're buying a property, you are taking into account whatever is the new rule for LTCG calculation. It was only the cases which have happened earlier is where the problem was. So in any case, the industry or the sales number were not impacted because of the new changes, and neither would it have any material gain or impact on the situation going forward. The rule was only for the retrospective impact, which has been clear today.
Having said that, it will obviously be a sentimental boost, Gulam, and I'm sure you've looked at all of the options. You can either go by the indexation benefit and pay a 20% tax if you have a property before July 23rd, or you can give up the indexation benefit and pay a 12.5% tax. Now, obviously, anyone who is selling such property will go to their accountant or their financial advisor and do the math, but broadly, what are the scenarios which could come about because of this?
See that the difference due to indexation, you would be actually benefited if your property gains are huge. Like assuming you have taken a property, say about 15-20 years back, and the gain is at least about 3x or 2.5, 3x, etc. Then going for indexation, taking the benefit of depreciation, you would stand to gain. But if you are going for the new rule, the new regime that you're talking about, the new regime considers that you're making good gains year after year, and that was actually the bone of contention when earlier also the finance secretary spoke about an average of about 14% gain per year in property prices. That was the biggest issue, because when you consider that, you're not really taking into account the cyclic nature of real estate, and that is when it's actually not really advisable to pull out the indexation if the gains are not high. And going forward, of course, it normalizes, but then for the past cases, the retrospective impact cases, wherever there's a huge gap between what you bought and what you sell at, you're getting at least about 2.5 to 3x. I have come across cases where the difference between the indexation method and the new method was as much as 10x and more. So obviously it was a huge impact, and that change that was brought about now, recently, last night, is actually clarifying that during the movement from old case to new case, the transit period is where the new rules have come up, and it's a very welcome change.
Gulam, just very quickly, and this is what we've been debating, and I think Tamanna also did try to ask you that question when he started this conversation. You know, there are states like, in the south, for example, where the appreciation has been significant because a lot of the property there has been ancestral property. In a situation such as this, and I know you're no tax expert, and this would be best advised, and an individual should take that advice from their tax expert. Do you feel like if there's a significant jump in the value of the property, sticking with the old regime may be a better option than picking a lower tax regime without indexation?
Indeed, indeed. And that's exactly what I was trying to clarify a short while back, that if you're talking about those specific cases in South Mumbai, in Bangalore, etc., where the gains are huge, the long-term capital gains that you are accruing are huge, in that case, indexation is required. What I was talking about is assuming that you have taken it, say, about 5-7 years back, and which is not possible because in 7 years, the property prices have remained stable if you don't look at last 2 years. So overall, the gains will be, when you're talking about last 15 to 18 years, where you would see 2x, 3x, 4x gains. And that is when the difference, if you're not taking indexation into account, you will end up paying more than 10x of what you would pay otherwise. So that's where it is clarifying it. that only in the old cases this was the situation. In the last 2-3 years, if you have bought anything, you will not be really impacted much.
You know, this is we need to break this down further. But thank you right now for your time, Gulam Zia. There, just breaking it down, saying that it is making no difference to anyone who is looking to buy property from here on. But remember, the concern was always for those who have property from before. A lot of Indian households invest in property, inherit property, there's ancestral property. So all of that was getting fairly complicated and frankly a bit controversial as well. So that has been put paid to right now, and that is the big takeaway. Thank you so much, Gulam, for speaking with you.